Okay, and we've got it recording now. So again, I'm Amber. I help run the league here, and I love it. This is Matt Kessie. So here's the thing. If you have a soccer question, you ask him. Because you'll ask me, and I'll have a blank look on my face and be like, I have no idea. If you have an administrative question about scheduling or any of the paperwork or how the app works or anything like that, you ask me. Because you'll ask him, and he'll look at you and go, I have no idea. So that's how that works. And then, Aaron, are you in here? Where are you hiding? We're here. This is Aaron. He is going to be our Saturday in charge person running it all. We're so excited to have him this year. He just came on staff here at Calvary, and it's awesome. He's our junior high pastor now, which is great. So he's going to be running the Saturdays and the tunnel runs and all the different things which we're going to go through here. So those are the three faces, so you guys know and who you can contact. I want to, again, just thank you guys for being here. This ministry couldn't work without all of you. We can't run it. We can't minister to the kids. We can't do any of that without you guys giving of your time and your hearts and pouring out into them. So thank you for that. And then I'm just going to start out with prayer. So if you bow your heads with me, we'll pray and ask the Lord to be with us. Lord, I just thank you so much for this opportunity, again, to be a part of this ministry, to serve these families and children in our community. I thank you for all of these individuals that have come to be a part of the ministry as well. I just pray that you would pour into our Upwards ministry, fill all of these volunteers and helpers to be able to go out and pour into these children. Please help us have a blessed season to be able to minister and keep everyone safe. And just be with us tonight as we have fellowship, just learning about the logistics of some of the things, going over some of the rules and what's, as we move forward to make it be a smooth season. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and we pray all this in your name. In Jesus' name, we all pray. Amen. Okay, so a few things from me administration-wise. I do need to set up. Keyshawn helped me be fancy. I hope it's going to work. Yep, it's going to work. I'm going to plug in my phone so that it will come up. Start to get loaded anyways. Okay, so things about communication stuff. I'm going to pull this up, make sure that'll load. Today, I had signed in over there making sure your information is all correct. I've been able to get a hold of all of you, so hopefully it was. If not, you made notes for me. You got your roster and your coach book. And then hopefully I tried to pair up if your assistant or head coach so that you guys didn't know each other, paired up, but otherwise, if not, just get a hold of each other and contact each other and be able to meet that way as well. The information is on your roster of all the contact information, okay? Best way to contact me is through email and or text if you do have my number. If you don't and you need it, I'm happy to give it out. I just ask that I don't mind at all if you guys text me. Please don't give it out to parents to text me, though. If they have an issue, give them my email address. Many of them do have my number if they know me personally from church, or if I've had to contact them for the league, I use it. But it's just better to do email and helps me out in that way. So just encourage them to contact me through email. All my emails for specifically this pop up on my phone too, just like a text would, so then I can see if someone's emailed me, but I don't always respond right away directly to that. As far as contacting Matt, the best way to get a hold of him is through the Band app, right? Is that right? And text if you need his number. But the Band app is one that I have sent out a link to everyone through email. I know one of the emails that went out, it wasn't working right, so I sent another one with a QR code and then the link, so hopefully everyone's been able to do that. I do have the list over there telling me who has not finished Ministry Safe and who is not up on Band yet. I checked that right before. So just look over there. If there's any highlight next to your name, that means there's something I still need from you that's important, okay? The Band app is where I am going to start communicating from now on, basically tonight on. I'm going to start posting everything there. Today you would have saw I posted the coach roster on there. I posted information about rules. That's where Matt's going to post different information for you, like videos to help with practice and things like that. It's a great way, too, if you have questions, post them on there because then others can respond. Or if you have the question, it's very likely that other people will have the question. When it comes to game day, I will be posting on there every Thursday It's usually Thursday that I hit it on there, maybe Friday morning, and that is who is going to be helping do setup, who's going to be helping do transition, who's going to be helping do tear down, things like that. And all of those things, I will contact people during the week to make sure that you're able to do it, and then I'll post it on there so that everyone can see the schedule, okay? How that usually works is our first game on most Saturdays is at 9:15. In our schedule, all the games are the same as far as time-wise, except for the second game. We have a ministry conference here, so we can't start games till later in the afternoon. So you'll notice those games are later. It's also picture day, so they're more spread out, okay? And then on the last day of the season, the games are different because we're doing our celebration and award ceremony a little different this year. What we're doing is our first set of games and our second set of games, we're splitting them by an hour, and we're putting the award ceremony right in the middle of them. So that means the people with the first game, they have their game, and then they stay for awards. The people with the second game will come early, get the awards, and then stay for their game, and then they're done for the day. Then on the second, the third game and the fourth game, we're going to do the same thing, put an award ceremony in the middle. That way it's not like everyone does the games then has to come back in the evening. We're trying something different to try to get everyone there. So it makes for a little longer day, but I think parents and families are going to be a little happier by doing it that way and splitting it up. And it will give a little bit more personal time, I feel like, for coaches to be able to interact with the kids and give the gifts out. I'll look at the time frame. I don't know if we'll have time to have people come up in front and give gifts out, but more time for you to spend with your kids a little bit more on those awards. When I say awards and the ceremony, I will personally have those awards and, well, a gift to give to your kids. So it's not anything that you have to do. This year, I'm looking at actually getting Bibles to hand out to the kids for the end of season award instead of one of the bags or balls, because we've done that for so many years. So it will be, I will have enough for your team to be able to pass out. If your teammates aren't there, you'll give them back to me, and then they'll have a week to come get them in the office from me, okay? So that's how that works for end of season. Communication for refs with Justin. So Justin was unable to be here. He is who is in charge of all of our refs. I know he's been communicating with you already. He's given you his email, and I think his cell phone was in there. If not, he might give that to you, but for sure email, and that's the best way you're going to be getting a hold of him for scheduling and things like that. Communication with parents and team. This is going to be through the My Upwards link that I sent you today. Everyone should have got a text from me. If not a text, an email that was directed to getting you signed up under My Upwards, which is what is up right here. And I'm going to walk you through it. So it's going to tell me, let me get in here really fast. No matter how many times I hit that update password, it won't do it. Okay, so when you sign in, this is what it's going to look like, okay? See if it'll do it this direction for me. Perfect. So this is for if I was the Iguanas coach. This is what I would see, okay? So getting started will give you different information on the league, videos, coaching matters, why coach, things like that. We're going to go back. The second one is your team. So here you will see right at the top, see where it says team page? That is a link that you can send to your players that is super awesome. And when I send out, tomorrow I'm going to be sending out parent rosters. They're going to get a roster like this. So when you contact them and you tell them about the team page, this QR code in the corner has the link for them to be able to hook up to their parent page, okay? So that's what you want to tell them to do, because when you go to that team page, what is on it is all your games, what color jersey to wear. You can see it shows whether it's the gray or the yellow. And then also practices, what field, times, all of that with the coach information and then my information to be able to contact me. So they have everything they need there. The only thing they don't have on there that coaches might ask you about is a snack schedule, which I provided for you a printout that you can use. You don't have to. I just try to do that as extra help to be able to utilize for you to have parents sign up for coach. The reason I have it divided up by snacks and drinks is specifically for our older age group, so 3 3rd through 6th has 14 players on their team, so you can divide it out a little bit more. Whereas the smaller age groups, kindergarten through 2nd, you only have 8 players and there's 7 games, so people are going to have to pick up more of like just the whole game. You know, they would do snack and drink, but in the older ages, you can break it up more. So that's why that's broken up that way. Here is where the ranking is for your players. This is not ranked, okay? We did not do evaluation scores and put them in the computer. So your first practice, you get to go in and rank your players. You're using it as kind of your evaluation. And Matt will kind of explain more about how to do that. Will you explain more about how to do that when you go over stuff? Ranking the players, basically. What it does is you go in, you rank them. You can change their rankings by grabbing the player here and being able to pull them down. It'll move them. And what that does is when you then go into game day, you want to save it. When you go into game day, it will make sure you're evenly playing your players. So your top 4 players are going to be playing against the other team's top 4 players. And so it makes it a little bit more even play as you go through, okay? Next thing you have is practice resources. So this is where everything in your coach book is also right here for you, okay? So you'll be able to find those, all your devotionals, your skills, rules, all of that. Oh, go back for me. Communication, this is where you're going to be able to communicate with parents. So you have everyone's emails to be able to send email and then the SM text. A lot of coaches like to pull the phone numbers off and just start a group text on their phone and not have to be through this website. And that's great, but this is where you're going to have all that information, okay? And then lastly, if this will go back for me, on game day. So this is where you go to your game. So your first game, you would click on that, and this shows you who's going to be playing. So you have your 4 players playing. That's your first segment. Then when you take a pause and do subs, these are the next 4 that are going to go in. And it rotates them for you, okay? So everything's right here in the app. If you have a player not show up, you can go up here to those 3 dots. See where I clicked on those 3 dots up there in the corner? And you can reactivate player there if you had taken them off. So if you touch a player and delete them by that little circle, the little circle with the dash, if you delete them, you can reactivate them in the corner if they show up late. Does that make sense? Okay? So it's all really handy right in here. This is a website. It's not an app. But what you can do is once you're on the website, you can go in and save it as an icon on your phone. Okay? If anyone has trouble with that, let me know. Come up afterwards and I can help you do that. So then it looks like an app, but it is just the website. Questions on how to work my Upwords? Nope. Okay. All right. So I got all that to you. Some of the other things, just so you know, for practice is you are going to get sticker cards or stickers for your players. Every player gets a poster in their box as well. These are really important to the kids. I know as adults we're kind of like, ooh, a sticker. But they really do like them. You can do them in different ways. It's all explained on what each color stands for, okay? I've seen coaches ask parents to watch the game, and then after, like, each parent has the certain name of a child, and they get to decide what sticker they get to give, or however you want to do it, getting the parents involved. They kind of rip them up and put stickers in parent bags and let the parents pass out stickers at the end of the game. You guys can. One way to, what I really like is on the back of this, it also lets you put your team, all your players down there, and then keep track of what stickers you've given them so that you can keep track of what colors they've gotten, what you've acknowledged them for, things like that. So that's really helpful. So you'll get a pack of these. You'll also get practice cards, which will have verses on them. Okay, I don't have any of those here, but you'll get those in your kit to be able to pass out and encourage the kids to memorize their verses. I've seen coaches ask the kids, if you memorize the verse and come back, they'll have a special snack for them, or you can start a sticker situation with them, whatever it is that you deem that you would like to do for your team, okay? If you need a sub, the best thing to do is start with parents on your team. So just ask your parents, say, hey, I'm going to be gone this week. Is there anyone that could fill in for me? And then it's important that you let me know so that I know what's going on in case any parents contact me, okay? So, and then who's going to be subbing, and or if what happens, if it comes Saturday and they don't show up, we need to know who it was supposed to be and try to get that filled in and everything. So just make sure anything that you change, you let me know as well, okay, with that. And if you don't have parents to fill in, that's okay. Let me know and I'll find a sub for you. So we can do that for practices and games. What the fields are going to look like for those that haven't been here before is this is our sanctuary. Wish I had a stand. We'll try to do it this way. So this is our sanctuary here, and then this is the big field out next to it, okay? So when there's a 1, 2, and 3, those are your fields, okay? And then the 5 here is kind of laid behind because what happens is after we have our first 3 sessions of games, our last session is 2 older ages, so it's all of our 5th and 6th graders. So we transition these fields. We take the small fields off, and we have one large field for the other players. And then our field 4 is up here, and there's a baseball backstop up here, over here, okay? This is our fire lane, so you can kind of see where everything is. Right in front, just to kind of give you an idea, this was last year's. We didn't have the 5, but I wanted to show you that 5. Right here, in front of the sanctuary is you're going to line up. I will have markers out there for like field 1 home team, field 2 visitor, or field 1 visitor, and so forth. So whatever you are, you're going to line up behind there. And then we have a big tunnel, and you will call your names through the tunnel, okay? And your players will get announced every week. On the first game, I will give you guys, or Aaron will give you guys, a lineup of all your kids in alphabetical order, and that's how they're going to be called every single game. So you're going to get them in that lineup, and as long as they're in that lineup every game, they're going to go through. They don't have to wait for it. It's kind of like once we start calling names, they all just run in a line through, but that's the order that they'll be called in so that you guys are aware of it. Team sizes, I already told you, kindergarten's together, and then first, second is together. They all have 8 players, so you guys are playing 4v4. And then third, fourth, and fifth, sixth are together. So third, fourth together, fifth, and sixth. And you guys have 14 players, so you'll be playing 7v7. And then equipment will be in a green trailer. It's not out there right now, but out, that's because Matt's doing wonderful work to it, aren't you? Getting it all ready. You got the latch. Woo! They're over by our playground over here. There's a big train car that's gray, kind of black-gray. It'll be parked out there by it. The first practice of the night, so whoever has a 4:30 practice, whoever's the first one out there will get the key from in the office. So you go into the office to Caitlin, our secretary, and ask for the key. She will give you the key. You'll go out, unlock it, send either a player or you back in to give her the key back, and then it stays unlocked, and then I will have someone set each night for whoever's the last one. Whoever has a 6:30 practice to be in charge of making sure all the equipment get back in and locking the lock. So whenever does it have a same thing, just a normal lock? Yeah, so just make sure when you unlock it, you leave it unlocked and don't relatch the lock because we have to lock the trailer up every night as well, okay? So that's where all your equipment will be. Every single field will have their own soccer bag, their own goals, and it'll have a bin of some, what are those called? It'll have cones, but then also to keep the goals down. Stakes. Thank you. I'm like, I couldn't think of it. Stakes in there because when it gets windy, you're going to want to stake the small goals down, okay? So you'll have U-shaped stakes to be able to stake the goals down, and then a bag of balls and then cones and different things. So make sure that you grab your correct one because what happens is if you show up and you're like, oh, mine's not in here, and you just grab another one, the next person can show up for that field, and it all gets jumbled, and one year all of a sudden we lost a whole bag of balls. And everyone's like, where's the bag of balls? Because everyone just kept moving them around, and we had to find them, okay? So just make sure if someone else has it already pulled out, and they're using it, okay, just talk to them and say, hey, can we make sure yours gets back so that we know where everything is. Make sense? And then once it is organized, if you guys could be a total blessing and keep it as organized as possible, that would be awesome. I will try to get it. I try to keep it so it's easy for you guys to get out, but then after a few weeks when all of a sudden it's thrown back in and no one can find anything, it's nice when it stays organized. Thank you. So those goals, we didn't bring any of the small goals down here. They're at your house. They're really easy to pop up and open. If you have trouble with them, you can call me and I'll tell you to go through it. Or actually, even better, Matt and I will make a video and we'll post it on Band so you guys can see how to open them. We'll do that. Setup and cleanup we talked about. Missioner. Structure of the game, you line up, you're going to go through the tunnel, you go out on the field, everyone comes out to pray together. Refs, we only have refs for 3rd, 4th grade, and 5th, 6th, so kindergarten. And 1st and 2nd, our coaches ref their own games, okay? So you're out there interacting with the kids, and Matt will talk more about how that's going to run. Specifically, the kindergartners, we were changing that up a little bit. So there's that. You will get team boxes. I've already put in the league order, so hopefully it will show up. Let's see, what weekend is this? I'm guessing it's going to be the weekend before our spring break here. So I would guess it's probably going to show up and be available potentially April 2nd for you to pick up, if not the next one, the 9th. So what I do is I send emails out, I'll send it out on Band, I'll say it's ready to pick up, and I will have it here at church on Sundays between first and second service and second and third service to be able to pick up. And if you can't pick it up on that Sunday, that's totally fine. If you go to another church or whatever it is, you can pick it up during the week, during office hours that week, whatever the week after that Sunday, you can pick it up, or even before practice if you get here before 5. The office closes at 5, so you would just have to be able to get there. So the week that it does show up, it's really, really important that you get it to your kids and you have them try on their clothes, and that you report back to me by Friday night if there's anything that needs exchanged, okay? And so I need to know, and I'll put all this on Band. I'll tell you what I need to know then. So just know that I need to know information by that Friday so that I can flip it around, and either I need to collect that material back from the kids. I try to do exchanges within the league, but if I have to order new stuff, I need to have time to do that before our first game, okay? So that's really important, especially your Friday practices. Those that have practice on Friday, you're giving it to them and saying, try it on right now. Like, put the jersey on, everything, pull the shorts on over the shorts you have, like, try it on and let me know if we need to change it, okay? For Friday practices, those that have Friday practices, the second Friday of the season, we need to reschedule anyone that is the whole Friday, which, did we do that? We did that at Southridge last year, or South Hills. Do we want to try to do that again, or should I try to reschedule them in the week? We got them completely out there. So I will get back to you on that. We can't have practice here that Friday because of the ministry conference going on. So either I will get back to you hopefully by the end of this week or into next week and let you guys know if we will be moving all practices to South Hills. So that's over in Kennewick, by Walmart in Kennewick. They were gracious last year and let us have just one night of practice there. We'll bring the trailer over there. Everything will be the same, that you can just set up fields and get to practice. If not, we'll reschedule you. I have plenty of time during the week that we can reschedule you on different fields. It's just that one week that we'll have to look at trying to find another spot, okay? So I will get back to you on that. And then all I have left is important dates. So tomorrow, I am sending out team rosters so that you guys know, and then you guys as coaches, you can talk between head and assistant coaches if you want to split the rosters and call players, or if you just want head coach, however you guys want to do that as a pair. But I do find it really, really important that you make that first contact with your players a phone call if you can. Even if it's calling everyone and you have to leave a message and just introduce yourself, say you're excited about practice, tell them when their practice time is, talk to them, let them know about the team page, things like that. That first interaction is really important, just to show them that you're excited, you're ready to love on their kids, and go from there. And then April 1st is the date I need everyone's ministry safe completed by. I have a list over there for who has not completed that. That has to be done before I can have you start coaching in the league, so that is really, really important. I will be continuing to bug you with emails and text messages and going forward to complete all of that so that we have it done beforehand, okay? But April 1st, if you could do it, the sooner the better. I really appreciate that. And then going from there, we just have April 10th is our start date. You will have rosters before that if you were interested in running a spring break practice, because that is our spring break the week before. That is optional. You can make it an optional practice for you. You just need to contact me and let me know, and so I can tell you which fields and where that would be. They won't be painted or anything, but I can't just have you show up and be like, I'm going to run a practice. I need to know so that I can clear it with our scheduler in the office and make sure they don't have anything planned, okay? So let me know that. And then April 22nd is our first game. April 28th is the one I said we need to move the practices, and then that following Saturday, the 29th, is the ministry conference and picture day. I do have picture schedule. I will get you your picture forms and the picture schedule the week before, so that first Saturday, you'll get a packet with all that information to give to the parents and the kids, so then they can bring it that next Saturday, okay? And then June 3rd is our last game into season, and we already talked about how we were running that award ceremony, and I'll give you lots more information on band throughout the season as we go forward. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yeah. Yeah. You're right. It's the 15th. 15th to the 22nd? Huh. It should be the 22nd. Thank you for catching that. So in my system, I will change that. And yeah, no, you guys get 2 weeks of practice, not just one. So I will move all of those. It's the 22nd, so everyone knows. And I will do that this evening so that when parents look at the schedule tomorrow, I'll actually be doing that right now while Matt's talking. I can do that on my computer and make sure it's right. So thank you so much, Tyler. That would have been a nightmare. All right. Yes. I just need to know when it's going to be, and so that way we can make sure that we have all the equipment there and everything. It might not be like, I don't know if the trailer will be back by then, but we can have a ball of bags and stuff in the office that you guys can get, and it's not, you can definitely run something over spring break. And like I said, fields won't be painted, that sort of thing, but we got plenty of field space if you wanted to. Yeah. Yep. So this is what they're going to get, and I will explain in the email what that QR code is, but about 30% of parents will get it. Yep, so just that they find the email that came from me, and it is important that they find it, because if it goes to spam, then they're not going to get anything that I send them through the season. And I send them an email every Friday before games also, just giving them kind of the rundown of what the weekend looks like. So just make sure that they say you got an email from Amber, amber.lewis.cc@gmail.com, so that way they can look up that email in their email thing. Check your spam folder, that sort of thing, that they received this. If they didn't, tell them to email me, because we need to see why they didn't, because I want them to get the contact information. And then you can explain, in the corner of that roster is a QR code, and that's where you get that team page. Yeah. Nope, I'll send it tomorrow. Yep, I wanted you guys to be able to look over your rosters and just see if there's things like that. Like he found that one date that was like, hey, you keep saying this 22nd, I accidentally put in the 15th. I like more eyes on it before I send it out. So if anyone sees anything tonight on your roster, let me know, and we can look at it. Because I want you guys to see it, because if there is any changes that need to be made, it is 100% easier to make them before parents know what their kid's team is than for coaches to call and then me have to call and say, I'm sorry, I need to move you to Thursday instead of Monday. And they're like, well, Monday works better, even though they said Thursday would work before. They kind of claim it once they get it. So, yeah. This one here? Yeah, I can get you a copy of this for sure. And then you guys the app that I showed you or website where it says team page, you can get on there, copy, and the best thing is if you get on there, go to the team page like I showed you, copy that link that it goes to, put it in your group text, and then every parent has it in your group text. That's the easiest way because then you get it directly from you. It goes into it, and it's always on the group text that you're going to be communicating the whole time, so you can always refer back to it if you need to. But they will be getting this also. But I can get you a copy of this. Absolutely. Yeah. So I try my best, but I can't always do it. Yes. So I did notice, I printed the coach rosters, and I noticed that it does say notes under there. Some of the notes are important for you to know if there's allergies or things like that. Some of them, I just didn't have time. I probably should have gone through and blacked out, but that's okay. Just disregard some of those. If it was some of them, like you might have one, there were a few that even requested kids that didn't get into the league. They were on the wait list and didn't make it in, that sort of thing. So when I build it by coaches' families first. Then I build it by large families, and then siblings, and I start with my 5th and 6th grade league, and I start with how we evaluated them. So I start there with our 1s, 2s, and 3s, and then I filter them all down through families after I do coaches. Then I fill in more and keep going down through all the leagues. So I try my best, but I can't make everyone happy. I wish I could. So, any other questions? Yeah? Please. I love it. No, the assistant absolutely could. So if like the head coach was gone, you'd want your assistant to be the head coach basically, and then you'd want a parent to step up and just help, because it is, especially with the younger age groups, you want someone sitting on the sidelines and someone out on the field interacting with the kids. Now, with the older ones, like you have 3rd and 4th, right? Is my memory serving me right? So you're going to be on the sidelines and have a ref out there. So if you feel confident just with you on the sidelines and don't need an extra help, then that's great. Or if your assistant did, there has to be someone 18 or older considered in charge. So some of you who have either a junior high or high schooler as your assistants, they are all excellent if they are assisting you. I assure you of that. But we do have to have an adult with them, an 18-year-old with them. Okay? Yes. Any other questions? No? Okay. So now to hear about soccer, I'll pass it over.
Yes, give her a round of applause. Fantastic. I could never do that. I don't want to do that. Oh, perfect. Okay. So before I get going on a couple changes, there are a couple changes that we're doing, especially with like kindergarten stuff. I wanted to kind of start off with kind of old business. So first, just to kind of get a feel, how many people, this is their first year coaching upward? Wow, over like half or more. That's awesome. Okay, so for you guys who are returning, give me some feedback on any questions or concerns that you had about last year. Is there anything that we need to adjust or change or don't like? Yes. Okay, so what they're asking is what we were attempting to do last year is kind of prevent the whole. If you guys know the beehive thing where everyone's chasing, so if you got 4v4, you've got 8 kids out there on the field, right, and they're all chasing the ball. And what we attempted to do was put 2 kids from each team on one half of the field, and to kind of prevent that and kind of promote soccer. a little bit. And because when you got 8 kids running around one ball, you don't really get soccer. And I get that it's kindergarten, stuff like that. We were just kind of trying to do that. What we're looking at doing this year, and feel free to give feedback on this. As far as kindergarten goes, and I posted this on the band today. Oh, actually, no, I don't think. Maybe it was. Maybe I know. I think I posted something different. Amber, did you happen to make copies of that thing I sent? No, that's okay if you didn't. That's totally fine. Yeah. I think it was the link I sent. Yeah, the kindergarten. Sure, that'd be awesome. So this is what other leagues are doing for kindergarten, even in first grade. They're not doing the only restart that they're doing, and a restart is when a goal is scored. When the ball goes in the middle of the field, right, and you have a kickoff, right? They're not doing restarts for kindergarten and first grade for anything going out of bounds. So no goal kicks, corner kicks, or throw-ins for kindergarten, and they're even doing it for first grade. So that means if you came to our evaluations, especially here, you notice that every time the ball went out of bounds, we just threw a new ball in. And it really does promote the game better, and it gets kids moving more. The ball goes out of bounds all the time for kindergarten and first grade. And so the restarts, they're not getting a lot of soccer in, especially if we move, if we're keeping that rule of 2 on each side. It seemed feedback I got was that they were standing around. So if we're just having each coach having a couple balls in their hands, and when that ball goes out of bounds, you just throw a new ball in and you keep going. The only time you do a restart is when a goal is scored. What do you think? Feedback. That is what other leagues are doing, not upward leagues, but other like rec leagues, I should say, at the kindergarten level. So yeah, kindergartens and even first grade at other rec levels, they're not doing goal kicks, corner kicks, or throw-ins. When the ball goes out of bounds, you just throw that ball right back in, and they keep playing the game, because most of your game as you get older is obviously playing with your feet and not throwing in the whole time, right? And so you're just getting more action. That's really the goal, is to get kids more action, more playing. Yeah. Yep. So you would probably what I would do is, let's say this team's going this way and they kick the ball out of bounds, and I've got 4 other players over here. Ball goes out of bounds. I go, okay, you guys go, boom, and then they go and play. I don't, I don't care if you guys want to do the half line rule or not. I'm a soccer guy. I like the idea of splitting it up and not having 8 kids around one ball. That's just me, and I think by throwing the ball in each time it goes out of bounds, you can kind of control both sides of the field, getting more action, because I think that was kind of the struggle, was you got one half standing a lot, right? But if you're controlling that, every time the ball goes out of bounds, you go, okay, you guys go, now you guys go. And then they play and the ball goes out of bounds, and then you go, okay, now you guys go. And you're kind of controlling more of an equal play. Am I making sense? Is that kind of clear? Would love feedback. Yeah, and I know that first and second, they're together. What the rec leagues are doing is for kindergarten first. So I'm kind of good either way. If you want to move it to the first and second graders to go throw-ins, start teaching that, I'm okay with that. I think it's great, really, for kindergarten. Yeah. Right. Sure. For sure, second graders. Some recs are doing it even for first grade, and I'm kind of either way. But that's the problem, is that they are combined. Yeah, and so I'm totally fine with second grade doing the restarts for corner kicks, goal kicks, and all that kind of stuff. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, and I would agree. But I think it's a good idea for kindergarten. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, right now you're a defender. Right now you're a forward, and that's part of it. And your job is when that ball comes over the line, you just kick it right back to your teammate over the line. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, no, is there anything written in that? Amber, you know what she's talking about?
Yeah, so you're going to have basically where it goes through your devotionals in here, practice devotionals. So, like devotional number one, your card is going to have this memory verse on it, is all it's going to be. So, you can see every verse that you're going to use. And devotionals, we have less practices, I believe, than they get 10. I feel like they get 12, and we only have 10 practices. So, you're going to have extras. So, you'll have to look through. I don't know if any directory verse is. No, I don't know. Because each year they change the theme and everything. So, this is a new theme, and I haven't gone through it yet. Yeah.
There's a hand in the back. Yeah, yeah. We'll get to that in a sec. Amber, are the first and second coaches reffing, or are there refs for first and second grade? Okay, first and second are reffing. Okay.
So I think the best thing as we're going through this, if you don't understand all of the different rules, can you write down what the specific things are we
Is
can
this
do?
is this the thing?
Well, this was the one that you posted on the end.
Oh,
This is the
okay.
one that you
Yeah, there we go.
So, do you want them to have copies of this, or just you wanted a copy too?
We'll start with me,
Okay.
and then we can.
Yeah. So whatever rules you guys talk about, write them down, and we'll post them on band so everyone can see them.
Yeah, this is actually, I really like this one actually. Is this? Okay. Okay, so we'll start with kindergarten first. Yeah, you have a question? Uh-huh. Right. Right. Sure. Yeah. And so, okay. Are you guys doing keepers at first and second? Yeah, right. Do you want to do keepers? No. Okay. I'm just saying, this league is once they get the first grade, they're putting keepers in. I'm fine either way, but so you basically want to put one sweeper back and let three roam. Okay. Right. So you're saying two are staying at offense, one can roam, one full. Okay. Is that is that? Yeah. As far as making, well, let's come back to first and second. We'll start with kindergarten because I we'll probably spend some time there. Okay, so for as far as kindergarten goes, what do you think about the restart? No throw-ins, no goal kicks, no corner kicks. You just throw the ball in. You got 6 minutes of play. Every time the ball goes out of bounds, the only restart is on a goal. Got to keep them moving. Sound good? Okay. And what do you, now as far as the beehive thing, do you want to keep it 2 and 2 on each side, or do you want to just let them go free? Right. Yep. Right. Right. Yeah. What worked way better? Starting. So you like the splitting? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Uh huh. Right. Right. Yeah. 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 Okay. And I think if we're controlling the ball and controlling the restart, then what we can do is notice who's getting the action and who's not. Make sure that ball gets into the area that's not getting action. You can kind of control it a little bit more that way. Yeah, what I'm talking about is within that 6 minutes, what has happened, feedback that I've gotten is you'll have one team that's just dominating and the other team's just standing. That's where the talking happens. So when the ball goes out of bounds, hey, you guys go, and that just keeps them on their feet, on their toes, and kind of keeps them from talking and stuff like that. They have to be ready for the next thing, and it's one more. And in soccer, we like them to think about a multiple of things in a short amount of time, anyway. Okay, so no restarts except for after goals, and 4v2 each side. We're good. Perfect. That's kindergarten. Love it.
So then, coaches, you just need to, if that's not happening in the game, be able to communicate with each other and just kindly remind each other. Like, let's try to remember we have to keep them separate so it's not so one-sided. Is what I see happen. If there was one coach that just let their kids roam and the other coach was trying to keep their kids separate, you have to be able to communicate together so that we stay on the same page. Okay? And if there is any issues, you're welcome to come talk to Aaron or myself or anything, but all of us can work together and it might just be, oh yeah, I totally forgot, just a reminder of keep them on the right side, this other place.
Question about the 2-on-2, which is fine. I think it's great. But are we going to separate them by if we're going to rank our numbers, the players, are we going to have the two best up, or do we want to try and separate one and one?
It's up to you as a coach. I prefer to have a balanced formation where I've got. I usually have. Some guys do it differently, but you know, I'll have it, and it depends on the player. But usually, I might have my number one, depending on who he is, at center back, and then my number two at forward. Some people like it the other way around, but I like a balanced approach. I'll just leave that up to you guys, however you want to do it. That's your call as a coach. Yeah. Didn't get what? Oh, okay. So do you want to just keep it the same direction the whole game for kindergarten?
Kindergarten, I think keeping the same way would be
Okay. Is that fine with everyone? Okay. So kindergarten, keep same direction. We'll do it and we'll hate it and we'll go back next year. It's all good. For kindergarten? Crossing the arch and scoring. I mean, we really should be honorable with that whole thing, I believe. And so, if we're going to, yeah, I would. I would stay honorable to it. I think it's good for the kid, and it's right by the game. So if a kid goes, what we're doing, if the goal is scored, then we're restarting. If the kid crosses the line and scores, then we'll just throw a ball in and keep going. Oh, you didn't, you crossed the line. You know what I mean? Is that fine? Okay, so yeah, don't cross the arch. Fair enough? Is Sound good? So it's just a new ball in if they cross it. We good? Goals across the arch. So does everyone get those rules so far? Everyone understands? That's okay if you don't. You get it? So what there is, yeah, so here's your, this is,
I know, it freaks me out. It says, we tested it.
okay.
It has it there.
It says Sharpie.
But it says
It says a flip chart.
I know, but
Oh yeah, give me the expo.
Woo. Kylie tested it and she's like, well, it comes off.
Okay, so you'll have an arch, and then you'll have your goal, and the kids, they have to be outside of the arch when they score. It's about, no, this is kindergarten, first grade. Kindergarten, first and second, yeah. And the other kids, they've got goalies. So this is basically the concept of having a goalie, right? But they don't have goalies, right? So it's just making it a little bit more fair, yeah, competitive. Okay, so yeah, be outside of the arch when you score. Okay, we're good on kindergarten then? Let's see. Staying on kindergarten, and this can kind of go across the board. As far as the matrix, when Amber was explaining the matrix, the point is making sure that every kid gets an equal amount of playing time. And we had some issues, football and even soccer and things like that. And I get it, especially with kindergarten, even kind of first and second. You're just going to have those variables where your kid just doesn't want to go in. He's having an attitude. The game is starting. You're like, okay, you go in because we need 4 people, right? I get it. It's fine. It's totally cool. One of the things you might do though is, as a coach, if you're having a kid that just has that consistent, it's kind of a consistent battle, is just go and talk to the parents so they know what's going on, so they're not wondering, why is my kid not going in there? Does that make sense? So have some conversations with them about it. But other than that, are there other, do you notice, are people following the matrix for the most part? Or do you feel like they are not? So the point of the matrix really is twofold. One is to make sure that every kid gets an equal amount of playing time. The second reason is when you rank your kids, your strongest to basically weakest, both teams are doing that, and then you're going head to head with, on paper, right? Your strongest against your strongest, right? And then as it goes through the game, you begin to have your lower kids overlap with some better kids, and they're getting play in that way, and you do get better as you play with stronger kids, right? And so I think the system's brilliant in that way. And so I understand that there's variables. You're going to have kids that don't show up certain weeks. You're going to have kids, you might have a kid get hurt or whatever. But just being honorable the best you can to it. And if things come up with kids or whatever, just let the parents know what's going on so at least they can be above board on that. So any question on subs? Do you guys understand how subs work? You get how subs work? So what you'll do, so I'll just say it for everyone that's brand new. You'll get a roster, and then you'll do your practice, and you'll find out which kids are really, really good, right? And you'll rank your kids, your number 1 kid all the way down, right? And then what you'll do is on your matrix, on your app, you'll put them on there, and it sounds like the app does it for you. And for each quarter, you'll have a certain number of kids that are going in and playing, and then when that quarter is over, the next kids go in. So your app will already tell you who the next group that's going in. And so that's just what we're trying to do. Make sense? Yeah. Yeah. And I think for kindergarten it's 6 minutes, and for the older kids it's 8 minutes. 8-minute quarters. What's that? 6. Yeah. Cool. Any questions on subs? Okay. First and second then. So the issue, so you want to, if we do something significant like that, and I'm a soccer guy, I love the concept of it. The question is everyone going to abide by that rule? So what was presented was you have 2 kids on each side, just like this is second grade. And so basically you have 2 and 2, 2 and 2, right? Actually, let me kind of reverse that. Right? Okay, so zeros are going this way and x's are going that way, right? And so what you're proposing is one of these guys can get into the mix, right? Is that too complicated to follow? It looks good on paper, but so basically, one guy always stays behind. Are you going to announce who that one player is, or as long as there's always one player back? No more than 3? So it can be anyone, like either one of these guys can go over as long as there's always one back, or is it? So basically, you're going to run a 2-1-1. Okay, and so these 3 guys get to go. So you could actually, that is probably a good way to promote it. You can have 2 forwards, a midfielder, and a defender. Yeah, so forwards and now are you keeping, these guys cannot come back on defense? Is that what you're saying? So these guys have to stay over. This guy gets to go the whole field. This guy always stays. That's good. That's probably a good way. Okay, so we'll just call it a 2-1-1. The forwards have to stay. This guy gets to run the whole field. And so we'll just give them positions so they know. Does everyone understand that? Any questions on that? We're good? These 2 cannot come back and defend. Yes, they will always be here. And then, yep, this guy gets to go the whole field. Typically, these are forwards, a midfielder. I would call him a center back, but defender. Yeah, so forwards, defender, midfielder. We can just do it that way. Does that work? We'll call him that. We'll call him forwards, midfield, defender. That's probably the best way to do it. I would call him a CDAM. Center defensive attacking mid. No, it's we'll call them forwards, midfield, and defender. Someone had a question, comment? This is first and second grade. Yeah. So these guys, these 2 will always be up. This guy gets to do both, and this guy stays. We good? I kind of like that. I think that's great. Cool. And then first and second, we are doing restarts. Throw-ins, corner kicks, goal kicks. Perfect. I could probably draw that better.
I'm just making
Okay. Cool. Yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah. So when a goal kick happens, yes, we're going to do that. And are you guys fine with doing it with the upper ages too? When a goal kick happens, everybody's on the line. Yeah, just gives them a chance. It gives them a chance. Yeah, they kick from the arch. It's gone back and forth. Sometimes people put it on the end line. Some people put it on the arch. I really. Yeah. That's fine. We can do that if you want. Yeah. Yeah. So everyone's got to come back to the half line. The forwards here have to come back to the half line. Boots on the half line. Once that ball's kicked, they can approach. And is that fine all the way up through 5th grade, 6th grade? I mean, that's what we did. Do you guys care? On goal kicks for 5th and 6th graders even. Even that's a short field. It's what we did. So on a 5th, 6th grade field, they have their penalty box, they have their goal box, they have its typical, and it's still short. But I really do think they should get on the half line when that ball's kicked, and then once the ball's touched, they can all go. So even the older ages on goal kicks, they just get their boots on the line. Yeah. The team that's taking the goal kick? No, they get advantage. Yeah. Yeah. You can. Well, you would have your center back, your midfield. Yeah, your center back and midfielder. Right. Because I'm guessing we're still not going to bring our forwards back. Right. Yeah. Okay. So you'll have your 2 here, and once the ball's touched, then they can start approaching. Is that clear for everyone? Am I good? Okay. All right. We're making progress. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you'll have whistles. As far as 1st and 2nd grade goes, yeah, I would, and the reason is because that's how you get their attention. I mean, I really would. Whistles are the best tool ever, so I'd blow it. Yeah.
Everyone is kind of responsible to get their own whistle, but if you need one or are having trouble with one or something, just come talk to me. The ones I order in bulk are never as nice as ones that the coaches want cut personally, so I'll usually always have some of those ones off to the side if you need, like if you forget one for a game and stuff like that, but otherwise, you guys
Just so I'm going to preach to the choir here, but this is for people who don't know the game. It's really simple. If your team kicks the ball out of bounds, it's the other team's ball, right? If the ball goes out on the sidelines, it's a throw. If it goes out on the end lines, it's a kick. Okay? Simple so far? So if it goes out here, the team that kicked it out, the other team throws, right? If it goes out here, if the defending team kicked it out, it's a corner. If the attacking team kicked it out, it's a goal kick. Okay? So if it goes out here, it's a kick. If it goes out here, it's a throw. Make sense? Sound good? Okay. For goal kicks and corner kicks? Yeah. So if the defending team, if the ball touched the defending team when it goes out, it's a corner kick. And if the attacking team kicked it out, it's a goal kick. So basically, the 2 options are going to be the ball's going to be here or the ball's going to be here. If the ball's here, it's the attacking team's ball. If the ball's here, it's the defending team's ball. So the ball goes out of bounds, whoever kicked it out. If it's the defender, they get it here. If it's the attacker, they get it here. Sound good? Yeah, so you will still have your 1 defender. So if the corner kick's here, you'll have 1 defender, and then you'll have your 3 up in. Is that good for everyone? Can't pull all 4. And so you're going to be 3 on 2. That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Are you guys good with that? Speak now, because we're going to make it a law. That's what it's called in FIFA. It's called laws of the game. There's no rules in FIFA. There's laws. Yeah. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Right. It will be. It will be 3v2. But let's see. I mean, if we play this out here, we got right. So these guys are now moving. Right. And so if the ball is here and boom. So if we're 3v2 down here, right, and these guys are able to clear it, we're 2v1. So it goes both ways. So you can get a counterattack. So you just got to teach these guys, win that ball and send it, and we're 2v1. Which, if you know soccer, is really 1v1. It's hard to make that pass. But it's still an advantage. Are we okay with that? You're thinking, I'm okay. He's going to roam, so it's up to him, right? He can, that's just the way that midfielders work, right? So, I mean, he can be messy and walk the whole game until he gets the ball, right? Or he can get in the mix, right? And so it's just up to how you want to run your midfielder. And I'm not saying it has to be this way. I'm just saying if this is how we want to do it, the midfielder would have the choice to go or stay. You still thinking? Yeah, and this is still 6 minutes. So it's just a 6-minute run. Yeah, it'll go quick. So it's not too bad. And it's a small field. So we cool? Yes, all soccer's a running clock. Yep, it's not football. Steve yelled at me. I mean, me and Steve got in a big old fight because I told him that a football game is really 9 minutes of play. He was so mad at me. I'm like, Steve, we run for 45 minutes. Stop. Football guys, which means 9 minutes of play is really 4.5 minutes of play because they have offense and defense. He was so mad. All right, enough making fun of him. Are we good? Are we okay with that? Okay, cool. Let's see. Any other questions about rules before I get into first and second? I think we can. We okay with that? Yeah. It does make it fair. So first and second, we'll change it. We'll swap at half. We go to that. Kindergarten, we'll keep it same. Okay with that? For first and second, what did we say? Are we doing coach refs? Yeah, 2 coach refs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, as far as throw-ins go, I'm sure you guys are already doing this, but especially at this age, if they do a wrong throw-in, just blow the whistle and have them redo it. It won't go the other direction because we want to teach them how to do it right. So it won't be a turnover if they throw it in wrong. Blow the whistle, teach them how to do it right, and then just keep going. Sound good? Yeah, so a throw in, just so you know, is both hands on the ball, both hands behind the bat, behind the head, and both feet on the ground. So both feet have to be touching the ground. So there's no hoppies, no throw in like this, things like that. And we're not doing keepers, so that's not a big deal. So we won't talk about that. Good. Speaking of keepers, for those who are third grade and higher, are we punting? The keepers, the goalkeepers, are they punting? Drop kicking? You did? Punted? Do we like it, hate it? Feedback? We're okay with it? Sometimes it can just end up being like you just boot it to the other keeper and then he's booting it back to you and it just never becomes a game. It could be. A lot of leagues are going to just the keeper just throws it if you want to go that route. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, as long as you understand that if the keeper puts it on the ground, the ball's in play, so someone can come and steal it from him. Okay, so just play it out. Keeper picks up the ball. His option is to throw it, or he can kick it, but the ball has to be on the ground. Once he puts the ball on the ground, a forward can come and steal it. You like that? Sound good? Okay, so no more punting. We're just throwing, or you can kick from the ground. I don't think so. Yeah, on a goalie possession. Yeah. So on a goalie possession, the team doesn't have to be. Only on a restart. This is third and up. Yeah, third and up. So every team with the keeper, no punting, only throws, or the ball can be placed on the ground and kicked. We like that? Sound good? Yeah? Okay, cool. Making progress. Any other rule concerns? Yeah. Yeah. I go back and forth. And so, yes, I do encourage positions. Sometimes, interestingly enough, boys love to be forwards and girls love to play defense. Not all the time, but that's typical. And I don't know if it's a nurturing thing or whatever, but girls just want to stay home and protect that goal. And guys want to go and hunt. So it's not always that way, but it's mostly that way. And so if I don't, I'm kind of feeling players out. If I feel like I can push them a little bit to go try another position, I will try to do that. But if they're out there loving it and like, I just like this and this is where I feel comfortable. And sometimes I'll go, listen, I know I will put you in that position next quarter, but I need a forward, right? Or I need a defender. So we do it now and then I'll put you in here later. I just want them to feel comfortable and get comfortable in their own skin. And so you have to have someone in every position, right? And so you'll just have to explain that to them. But if I've got people that love a certain spot, then I will. And then over the season, I try to gently encourage them to try other things. So I'm not a stickler on it. Feel them out. Cool. Yeah. Oh, 7v7? The formation? No. You can do whatever you want. Any formation you want in the 7v7. So you will have a keeper at the 7v7, so we'll do O's. Yeah, so you'll do two defenders, three. Yeah. Oh, you'll actually switch it up on them? Oh boy, you're hardcore. Yeah, hey, yeah. You get to pick your formation. Yep, however you want to do it. Um, if you want to nerd out with me, we can talk formation, but I won't do that here. But yeah, you can. As far as the 7v7s, you can do whatever you want. You can go. You have to have a keeper, so you can go 6 forwards if you want. I don't care. It's up to you. I think I was just talking to someone about that the other day about how they were sending up center backs. I'm like, how are you sending up a center back? You're going to get countered, but it's up to you. Cool. Okay. Just some concepts. Has anyone here coached for 2 or less years? 2 or less years. All right. Okay. I'm going to say a little bit. So kind of what I thought I would do is if you guys, a couple things. If you guys want to stay a little bit later, if you want, I don't want to keep you long, but if you have questions about running a practice, I don't want to hold people who know what they're doing any longer. But if you want to stay and about, how much time have we got?
It's 7:05.
Okay.
So we got 25 minutes, but also you had talked about
Oh, we can this Saturday? Possibly, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, let's see. There was a couple things I was going to offer you guys. One is if you would like for me to come and do a practice with you so that you can see, just to let you know a little bit about myself. I was the varsity soccer coach at Kennewick High for 12 years. I played all my life. I coached there a total of 17 years. And so I love the game. I played it. I nerd out, all that kind of stuff. If you'd like me to come to a practice, even run it, if you want just to kind of see how it's done, I'll be happy to do that. You can text me and we can schedule a time to do that. I would love to do it. If you would like, what we were talking about, what time were we talking about Saturday? If you want to do a Saturday thing like around 10 in the morning, we could run a little clinic for you guys if you want, or you could stay a little bit later for a half hour and I can give you some pointers and things like that. We can do that. But as far as, just for everybody, as far as practice goes, my suggestion, and you don't have to take it, but I recommend it, is number one, we basically have 2 requirements. One, you got to follow the matrix to the best of your ability because we want every kid getting equal amount of playing time, and that's for the sake of development. 2, you got to do the devotion because that's the whole reason why we're doing it. We're telling these kids about Jesus, and we're using soccer as the vessel to do that, right? Those are our only rules, right? Other than that, you get to run your team any way you want to. What I suggest is doing the devotion halfway through. So the beginning of practice will be more development, skills and games and things like that. And then do your devotion and then your scrimmage. And your scrimmage is where the kids really get to learn the game. And so when you give them the last 20 minutes of practice, you play your game just like you normally would. Put them in your formation and they play. That is the best coaching tool that you'll have. Just let them play and let the game teach them. And so that's how I would organize my practice, skills and games, devotion, and then scrimmage. As far as skills and games go, at the beginning of practice, the old school American game, the way that people run practice in America, which is horrible, is you get all the kids in a line, and then you get these cones, right? And then you get the kids dribbling around the cones, left foot, right foot, and all that kind of stuff. And it's horrible for a bunch of reasons. It's boring. and a bunch of reasons. One, it's boring. You're standing here in a line and you're waiting. Two, it's nothing like the game's going to be because cones stand around and they don't do anything. Three, you're looking down at the ground. You're not looking up, right? And so what coaches would do is, hey, when you're dribbling around, look up and stuff like that. It's not game oriented, right? So instead, and these are things that I can give you guys pointers on, but you get a grid. You can make it a circle or a square, whatever you want. And then you get all of your players in here. And one of the first things you can do is give them, every player has a ball, and they just start dribbling around in the circle, right? Now what are they doing? One, they're learning how to dribble. Two, you don't even have to teach them to look up because they got to be aware of everyone that's around them, right? And so they can start doing that. And then what you can do is you can tell them, okay, I got a coach that's here, and he's going to come around, and if he tags you, then you have to give him your ball, and you got to go tag someone else, right? Now we're picking the pace up a little bit. And I have to be aware of everyone that's around me and the person who's it, right? And then we up it a little bit, and we say, okay, now they're not going to touch you. Now they're going to come and steal your ball. So if they steal your ball, then you got to give that up, and you got to go steal someone else's ball. Now we're learning how to tackle, right? And this is more of a game situation because you're being aware of your surroundings, you're looking up, you're getting your spidey sense, and you're just naturally learning how to dribble. And where the cones, they're not moving, everything's moving in the game around you, and you're adjusting to it. Does that make sense? See the difference, right? So we like games like this where all the kids are moving, and I posted some kindergarten games just today on Band, some ideas of things like that. You guys have, you probably heard of sharks and minnows, red light, green light, all that kind of stuff, but all the kids are moving, they're active, and they're not standing in a line. And so we like to see kids moving as much as possible. And so if you want some tips on that, then I don't know. If you guys want to stay late, for 20 minutes, I can answer some questions. Or if you guys want to, does anyone want to do a clinic on Saturday? I don't blame you. Okay. Okay. Well, for real, though, if you want to, I will. Is anyone? Here. You know what? I'm going to do this. Yeah. Here's my number. (308-1721). You can text me if you'd like me to come and run a practice. If you guys are interested in doing a clinic, we can do that. This Saturday, if I get interest, you can post it on Band, or I can even post it on Band, and I can get some comments if I have 8 people, let's say. I'll come out for 8 people on Saturday. Nobody wants to come. 7's a complete number. It's a holy number. I'll do it for 7. 6 is the number of man. That's the Antichrist. Not doing that. Is there any? So what I can do is I can say, any questions? Does anyone want to stay and ask? I can do a little thing with you guys if you want, for anyone that wants to stay and has questions about soccer and coaching and all that kind of stuff. You want to stay? Okay. So I'll do that. Any other questions, concerns? Yeah. So what I will do is, and I just did it because I just had some free time today. I thought I would just kind of shoot it. Yeah. So what I've done in the past is I've shot a bunch of videos online or on Band, and I'll get back into the last year's. I was trying to do that. I was trying to look into last year so I could just copy it, and I didn't have to go on YouTube and hunt them down. But I'll try to start shooting them up on Band, and you guys can look at them. But really, the concept is lots of movement. Oh, and by the way, it was vocabulary too. Vocabulary is a big one, and I'll explain why. So, no brainer. So we'll just do this. Dune. This is one of the first things I do with my team. And so you have all these lines and things like that. So the first thing I do is I teach the kids vocabulary. So this is obviously a sideline. This is an end line, sometimes called the touch line. This box right here, there's two big there's a big box and there's a goal box. Now, if you're coaching third grade and up, the keeper can pick up the ball in this whole big box area. Sometimes that's confusing to people because this is called the goalie box, and they think the keeper can only pick up the ball here. The keeper can pick the ball up in this whole box. This is called the penalty box. It will have no effect on us this year, but that's what it's called. This line right here, this line, is 18 yards from the touch line. Not an upward, but we call it the 18. This we call the 6. Okay, so we call this the 6, the 18, the half line, the sideline, the touch line, or end line. So the first thing that I do with my kids is I say, I get them on the 18 here, and I go, okay, everyone run to the half line. And they'll go to the half line. I'm like, okay, run to that sideline, run to that sideline, run to the touch line, run to the 6, right? And the reason that I do that, especially for the when I'm coaching, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders, is we tend to tell kids, push up, or go back, go back. Well, it's a lot easier if I say, hey, stand on the half line, and they know where to go, right? Or I'll go, hey, fall back to the 18, fall back to the 6, right? And it's just a little bit easier way to communicate. And then when the ball is on this side, let's say the goal's like this, right? If the ball's here, this would be the near post, and this would be the far post, right? So I will, so that is essential for when we're doing corner kicks, and I'll say, hey, Johnny, you're on far post. Jimmy, you're on near post, right? And I start using vocabulary like that. It's a whole lot easier for them to understand what we're talking about. So I actually do that on day one, and I'll even have them dribble to the certain spots. Okay, dribble to the half line, dribble to the 18, dribble to the 6, near post, ball's over here, near post, ball's over here, far post, sideline, touch line. It just makes things a lot easier for communication. And so I actually saw a thing that had a bunch of vocabulary on it. I actually even use terms like switch and drop. A switch is when the ball's over here. Let's do this. So if the ball's over here, and when we pass the ball to this side of the field, that's a switch. And so when I'm working with my 4th and 5th and 6th graders, I'm actually working on that. Hey, let's see if we can switch the ball. Get the ball from this side of the field to this. If I pass it backwards, that's called a drop. And then if we pass it between players, that's called a through ball. And so I actually even work on those vocabulary things as well. So we'll work on drop, we'll work on switch, and we'll work on through. And that's if you want to get crazy like that. But I really work on the terminology with kids. So I suggest that. It's easier to communicate that way instead of saying, kick the ball over there. Oh, by the way, a little tidbit. First day of practice, I bring the kids in, and I ask the parents to come in too. And I give an introduction of who I am, and I want the parents to hear it. And one of the things that I tell the kids, so I'll talk to the kids, but I'll talk to them in the earshot of the parents. And I try to do it with charm, but what will happen is you have parents, especially parents that have played the game, and they will tell their kids to do something, and it's different than what you're telling them to do, right? And so the way that I work that out is I talk to the kids with the parents listening, and I'll say, and I'm kind of a soccer guy, so I get this because they probably have parents who are soccer parents, and this is how I present it. I'll say, hey guys, so I love soccer. I've been playing for a real long time. I coached at Kennewick High School. I was a varsity coach for 12 years. I'm so excited to be able to play. And you know what? you guys, your parents might have played too. Anyone here whose parents have played? Yeah, your parents played. Your parents? Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, guys, did you know that there's a whole bunch of different ways to play soccer? There is actually the German way. There's the Brazilian way. There's the Italian way. There's my favorite, the Spanish way. I love Spain. That's my style of soccer. There's the Dutch way. There's all different styles of soccer. I don't know if you guys know that, but there is, right? And I'll go, I'm going to teach you the style that I want to teach you. That means that when we're playing the game and your parents tell you something, they're probably not wrong, but we're trying to get all on the same page. All right? So who should you be listening to when we're playing the game? And they're like, the coach. I'm like, that's right. I need you to listen to me. And I'm saying that in front of their parents. Because I'm not putting their parents down because they're probably right in what they're saying. But I need the kids playing our system of play. So some people were talking about formations, right? There's a different style of play for each formation, if you want to kind of nerd out. So I'm trying to get the parents to understand that I want the kids listening to the coaches. Sound good? So I bring the parents in and do an introduction and all that kind of stuff. And then utilizing parents is really helpful. So if you're going to do a scrimmage, no matter what age you're at, I would really highly suggest, even that game that I was talking about, when anytime you're doing any sort of game where the ball's going to get knocked out, if you can bring parents as a part of your practice to either chase balls or help toss the ball in to keep it going, that's a huge help. So they could be situationed around, like during a scrimmage and stuff like that. You can have a couple sitting over here, a couple sitting over here, and just chasing balls. So you can continue to keep that game going, and we're not having to worry, because you don't want kids chasing balls. You want them playing, right? So if you can get the parents involved, and sometimes even on the smaller fields where they can just even kick the ball back in, the ball's coming out, boom, get it in, and just keep going. I did this with varsity. Even with varsity guys, when we first started, every time the ball went out just a little bit, their hand goes up, out of bounds, and I'm like, guys, we're not doing that. Not at practice. If that ball goes 3 feet out of bounds, we're still playing. We are not stopping for anything. We never stop. We always go, 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 go. We never quit. So if you can keep the practice going and utilizing parents to be the ones that are chasing balls, that will be a huge help for you guys. Try not to have kids chase them. Have the parents do it and have them help. All right? Is that okay? All right. If you want to stay, you can say, I'm going to pray real quick. Okay, sure. And then I'll pray and let them go.
That's great. A few more things I thought of as you guys he was talking with you guys. One is weather. Okay, I looked back on last year's, and the first week of soccer, it snowed. So when it comes to weather, if there is things like there's snow on the fields and we can't practice, I will send out an email and let you guys know if it's canceled, if we cancel it. But as far as weather for wind, rain, things like that, unless it's a downpour that we know the fields are bad, it is at coach's discretion, okay? So you guys get to decide if you're going to cancel practice. I just ask again, anything you do to change your practice, you let me know, because if it doesn't get to everyone or a parent has a question and they come back to me, I need to know what was decided. But you guys have that control to decide on your practices. If you do have to cancel one because coaches are sick or change of your schedule or something, I do have other openings in the week that you can rearrange your schedule to. As far as for like 1 week, we can't move because the way, like I said, when I put it together, we have families on those specific nights trying to keep them to only have to practice one night. So it's just if a situation comes up where we have to move it, we can move it to a practice for one week or something like that, okay? Cleats and shin guards. So we do say that we require shin guards. Cleats are optional, but we highly recommend them. If I keep a kind of stockpile here at the church to try to be able to give out to people, people can donate them all throughout the year. So if you have kids that don't have them your first practice, let me know. Find out from the parents, do you need help getting them? Do you want me to check and see if their sizes? And then we have had people donate money specifically for cleats and shin guards. So if there are families that aren't able to get them and you find those families, then you let me know and we can make that happen, okay? The other thing is he talked about utilizing parents. When I send out the rosters tomorrow, it will also state in there to the parents that they are required to stay on campus. Okay, so you guys as coaches are not responsible to be alone with their kids, specifically kindergarten, first, second, to help them go to the bathrooms, any of that thing, okay? That is not, we do not want any of that. We want protection for both our children and our coaches, okay? And so parents are required to stay on campus. If not everyone listens, I send out reminders, I try to do that. If you end up with a child with you at the end, it is important that both the coach and the assistant coach stay there until the parent comes to pick up that child. If there's any issue, you can call myself or Matt. He does live closer. So if something does come up like that, I can only think of once in the league that it did. It was dealt with. They didn't have to call me till afterwards, but they immediately called me afterwards and said, I want to let you know about the situation. I was here with this child. Parent didn't show up. They did show up. This is what's going on, so that I was able to contact the family and talk to them, okay? So just know that is a priority. That's what we do the Ministry Safe for. That's what we do. We want to keep both you guys and our kids safe in that. There will be porta potties delivered out there onto our fields for those that are new. The first few practices, you only see about 3 of them out there, and then they'll be up to 5, I think is what I end up with, 5 or 6 for when it comes to games, because they fill up so quick. We'll have some hand washing stations and things like that. But it is the parents' responsibility to take care of that and not you guys, okay? Questions on any of those things? Nope. All right, thanks.
Cool. All right. I'll pray for you guys. Father, thank you so much for, wow, you said you came to give us life and life more abundantly. Who would have thought that that would have included Jesus and soccer, the 2 greatest things in the world? And I'm biased. But Father, I thank you for these guys here who are volunteering to just pour into kids' lives and give up their time. And Lord, I just pray that they would have fun. The kids will see if their coaches are having fun, and that will be... oh gosh, what's the word? Contagious, yeah. And so, Lord, I just pray that you just give them the spirit of just having a fun time with these kids, that they would see you in them. Lord, I pray for camaraderie between the coaches and the teams, and that this would just be a wonderful year, just with your spirit amongst us, teaching kids the game and hard work and sportsmanship and love of the game and love of you. And so just pray that you'd bless these guys and just be glorified in what we're doing. We ask that you would do this in Jesus' name. Amen.